in terms of diversity for the veterinary profession, and this is something else that I said in the podcast, I really feel like we need diversity not for it to be like a token, not that, we're just increasing diversity because we need representation and anything like that, but it's almost like it's needed, it's a requirement. Because I was just shaking like, are you sure you want to leave us alone? As a listener, I pray 5 times a day, and sometimes when you say that to people who aren't like so aware, they might like be a bit shocked, really, like 5 times, and it just makes you feel like there's something wrong with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's not actually that big of a deal.
Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is May and I'm a final year vet student at the University of Cambridge. And today I have with me Sanaa, who will be talking about her experience as a vet student at Cambridge. And so Sanaa, introduce yourself please.
Hi, I'm Sanaa. I've just finished my 4th year at Cambridge, and I'm at Queen's College. So I guess my experience at the vet school has been really different from pre-clinical years to 3rd year, where we get to do our intercalated degree, and now in 4th year finally it's the start of clinical years. So I really enjoyed my time in 4th year, even though it has been disrupted because of the pandemic. They really tried their best to make sure that we had as much in-person teaching as possible. And so I've really enjoyed my 4th year so far, because it's like finally I'm doing what I came to vet school to do. So
Cool. We'll talk a little bit more into detail about your experience, especially given with pandemic and stuff. But first, I want to know a little bit about you. So like, why did you apply to Cambridge and how did you apply to vet school?
I've always wanted to be a vet, or rather I've always wanted to combine like my love for understanding kind of why things are the way they are, and also my love of animals. So I really want to help animals, but I also still want that kind of constant learning. So I feel like being a vet kind of perfectly combines the two. But when the time actually came to decide and when it became serious, it was a bit more, I think, difficult for me. Like the resources and kind of the pathway to studying veterinary medicine isn't always so laid out for you. Like you really have to pave the way yourself, in my experience. So it has to be really an active choice. I applied, do you want to know the vet schools I applied to?
Yeah.
Okay, so I applied to the RVC, Nottingham, Cambridge, and Bristol, I think it was.
Okay.
And actually the first time I applied, I didn't get into any because I didn't have enough work experience. So work experience is a really big part of the application, as well as just grades and everything else, like extracurriculars. Work experience is a really big thing, as you know. Like you have to have so many weeks to apply. So I think I only had about 10 weeks or something. So it wasn't enough.
Is still a lot, is it not?
It's a lot, but I'd say the average person, like especially when I was applying, they had like 15, 16 weeks.
No,
average.
really?
Yeah, and some vet schools ask for way more. Like Liverpool asked for loads.
Okay.
That's when in the first.
Liverpool asked for loads.
Yeah.
Strict form.
Exactly. So I didn't get in the first time, but I took a gap year, and there was a couple of things I wanted to do in my gap year. Like I was trying to learn a language, Arabic. I was like learning it grammatically and everything, and I just used that time to get more work experience, obviously, and just like build up my, I guess, CV and work a bit, earn some money, and just kind of take some time off. And then the second time I applied to Nottingham again, RVC again, Cambridge again, but this time I applied to Edinburgh and not Bristol.
Okay.
And so this time, obviously, I got into all of them, because that's just how it is, that you either get into none or you get into all of them. So I was like, what should I do? What should I do? Like, deep down, I was thinking, hey, come on, I've got Cambridge, I should go to Cambridge. But also I was kind of thinking maybe RVC as well, because I'm from London, so I live in London. Whilst I was making my decision, I was asking my family, I was asking other family friends what they thought. Everyone was basically just saying go to Cambridge. So I thought, and I think the main reason actually that I picked Cambridge was not just because of the name or anything, but because I looked at the course structure and I really wanted and liked the idea of intercalation, like to be able to explore something different, not just veterinary related, to get another degree. And also I like the way that they focused on the theory in the first 3 years, even though it may be a little bit less practical. I think we still got to do stuff with animals, like we had our practicals, but I like that focus on, understanding, again, going back to why things are how they are, and getting into the details, because you're not really going to get the opportunity again, if that makes sense. Like after you, we get it again in clinical, of course, but you're never really going to get that why when you graduate. Like you're just going to go in, and also the city. I really love the city when I visited. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm like I think most vet students love nature. Like,
yeah.
So I obviously, like, I saw the city, I was like, wow, this is so nice. Like, the architecture's beautiful. I love the vibes, and I love the river and the fields and everything. So I just thought, you know, studying somewhere isn't just about the academics necessarily. It's also about like what kind of a social life you're going to have and what kind of an environment you put yourself in.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, if I'm happy in that environment, then I think I will like it.
Yeah, you'll thrive.
Exactly. So I felt like the environment made me feel happy. So that is why I
that's
applied.
so cute.
Yeah.
So maybe let's share a little bit more about your university experience so far in your 4th year, and you're going to be 5th year next year.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, how do you feel?
I'm looking forward to it. I feel really excited, especially doing a little bit of EMS now, which is extramural study. So we have to do
the work placements that you have to do in all the 6 years of your vet school.
Yeah, exactly. So especially now that I've done a few clinical placements, I'm looking forward to actually being able to practically do a lot more, like in hospitals and in clinics. Like, we can take bloods, do catheters, and it's really fun because now I'm no longer just observing or just like, you know, always asking questions. And that's why I'm most looking forward to, I think, in 5th year, I think you have hospital rotation.
Yeah, you have treatments as well, and also you do consultations at the RSPCA.
Yeah.
So you actually feel like you're a vet.
Exactly, yes. I'm really looking forward to that. My experience so far in 4th year has been, yes, it has been a bit disrupted due to the pandemic, but I would say that the course has been really interesting. So at the moment we were doing systems, so
elementary
elementary respiratory system,
parasitology,
and then animal management, so IAM, and then public health.
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, and then public health and things like that. So that was really interesting, and I haven't decided whether I like the method of having exams like right at the end of every single term, because you know, in the first 3 years I was so used to having exams just all at the end of the year. But I think I've come to the conclusion that I prefer having exams at the end of every term, because then at least you've revised, you've done it, and you can actually relax in the holidays. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so, I quite enjoyed it as well, and especially because it's MCQs.
Yeah,
I do find it. I hate essays. So.
Yeah, essays are a bit nerve-wracking, I would say, definitely. Like, I'd say they have the pros and cons.
Yeah, some people love and like they're really good at them. I'm not one of those people.
With essays, at least you can choose what you want to say, and you can get points for it. Whereas in MCQs, asking one specific thing, you have to know that specific thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's pros and cons to everything.
How did COVID change the way you were taught in 4th year?
So basically, we were in Cambridge for all of it. We had to have practicals.
And so what are labs implications?
Okay, so labs are basically the practicals that we have in the laboratory.
In the lab?
Yeah, in the lab, basically. And it's to complement and supplement our theoretical learning. So all the lectures that we've done, say for example, we're doing parasitology and infectious diseases. Yeah. We'd learn about them, obviously we'd have our online lectures, and then that would be supplemented by practical work. So for example, looking at histopathology under the slides, or looking at different parasites under the slides, doing things like fecal egg counts.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so like under the microscope, basically doing all the things that you can't actually do just in your head. You have to actually translate this into something practical. So that's rotations. That's basically just different practicals again, like with different animals and in different sectors. So I guess we had like an imaging rotation, so just looking at
ultrasound and radiography,
the department in the vet school, and then also we had our equine rotation, so taking care of the horses, doing poo.
I remember lots of poo picking.
Yeah, it was really fun. Ours was actually just before our exams, so it was like so it was like a really full day. Yeah, but it was fine. I think I personally liked it because it gave me an excuse to like get out and you know. So we feed them, give them medicines, bring them in, take them out, hoof pick, everything.
Are you a horsey person?
It depends what you mean by that. Like, I didn't grow up going to stables or anything, just because it's so expensive.
Yeah, I also don't have like a horsey background, so what I found was that rotation really built my confidence to work with horses, because I'm a bit scared of horses, because you know, they might kill me if I'm like, I know. But working with the vet school horses, they really built my confidence.
Yeah, especially things like hospital, because you have to get close to the source of the discomfort. It really builds my confidence, even after just being with them consistently for a week, I already feel like I know what I'm doing all the time. You know, like it's become second nature. The head collars, walking them, cleaning them.
You know how to read their body language and things. Yeah.
Exactly. And we have like our farm animal rotation, so going with the sheep, things like that. We had lambing, obviously.
Oh yeah, how was lambing?
Lambing was so interesting. I was
for context, so the 4th years at the vet school have to take care of the lambing during lambing season. So we have about, I don't know how many sheep, maybe.
I would say probably about 200 sheep.
Yeah, I was going to say 200, 200 sheep at the university farm. And basically the 4th years are on shifts during that few weeks. And they rotate so what do you do in your shifts?
So on our shifts, basically the shifts are, in our time was 8 hours for each shift.
Okay.
So it's quite long, but honestly, like there's so much to do that the time just flies.
Okay.
Like essentially what you have to do is you have to monitor the flock, so the ewes, the female sheep, and they're all pregnant, so you have to just keep an eye out on them, see if anyone starts to show signs of labour, and if they do, then you obviously have to watch them, make sure that nothing's going wrong, and step in if they need help. I was really nervous for my first one because usually when I'd done lambing in my first year, which is our actual farm, obviously the actual farm is there all the time, and this thing like like they go home in the evening, so I was just shaking like, are you sure you want to leave us alone? I mean, like, of course, as it would happen, like there was 2 ewes lambed on our first shift, and one of them had like dystocia, like really
difficulty
giving birth. So we had to call like
did you the clinicians?
Well, one of the farmers to come help us. But it's really, I'd say it's definitely emotionally draining, but it is rewarding when things go right. It's difficult when things go wrong, but I think it's taught me that I can't place blame on myself all the time, if that makes sense. Like there's only so much that you can do as a person, as a student, and then when you graduate as a vet, like life isn't in your hands ultimately. Like you can only try your best. But I was really struggling with that, you know, like sometimes you lose the lambs and everything. I was like feeling kind of overwhelmed by everything. But I think as it went on, and as we had different things to do, like I had lots of daytime shifts and morning shifts where none lambed, and we were basically just doing treatments. That was really, really, really cool for me, because at the beginning I was asking the vets, are you sure like we can do treatments and vaccinations? They're like, you can do everything, don't worry. And by the end of it, literally it was like second nature to me, like just giving them the vaccinations, treating them, like trying to see what was wrong, and asking for the vet's advice, and then like coming, like us making a plan together, and like treating the sheep or the lambs, and like feeding them and everything. Like it just felt like I could do it, you know. So it was very rewarding, definitely. So that's basically what lambing is.
That's so cool. It's so cool to see your progress, especially
definitely
from what you think you won't be able to do any of this, but at the end of 2 weeks you're like, I can actually do this stuff. And this is like coming from, would you say you're from a farming background?
No,
like,
I live in London, so I'm not from a farming background. Like I've always loved animals, and I've always loved nature and everything. And actually my parents both are from Kenya, so they were born in Kenya, and most of my family lives in Kenya. So whenever we go back for family holidays and things like that, we go to Kenya, and Kenya is like the wildlife capital of Africa, so there's like so much wildlife, so many animals, so we always go visit the like elephants and in the sanctuaries,
so jealous,
and the giraffes, and we'd like go on like small kind of safaris and stuff and see the animals. So that's where my love of animals has definitely come from, I think. And my mum had loads of pets growing up and things like that.
So it really shows like you don't really have to have from a specific farming background to actually be able to do this stuff. You pick it up in vet school, and it's all about practice and learning and like having the right attitude. Like
definitely.
Were you able to do like extracurricular stuff in 4th year? So
4th year specifically, I don't think I did that much extracurricular because of COVID. Like the Easter term has been a bit better, I would say. Still not that many extracurriculars, to be honest, because it's exam term now, so that hardly happens anyway. And everyone has exams, but it's nice that my friends are back, because I don't know if you know what Ramadan is. Like,
maybe explain to us.
So basically I'm Muslim, and we have the holy month called Ramadan, where we fast for a month from sunrise to sunset, not the whole month, don't worry. usually get shifted forward by about 10 days every year because it follows the lunar calendar.
Yep.
So this year it was around April, May-ish time, which was really nice because although it was kind of near-ish to exams, it wasn't exactly in exam time at all. Like, I was revising, but at the same time I was able to relax, and as well as being a very holy time, it's also it's a good time to get together with friends and family as well. So when we break our fast, we eat together. And have you seen the new Eco Mosque by Mill Road?
Yes.
So we went there a couple of times for prayers and saw loads of people. Like, it's so nice because they had it in a COVID safe way. So you had to book your place and bring your own kind of prayer mat and obviously wear a mask the whole time and everything. So everything was very COVID safe. I felt very, very safe going. And it was just really nice to do something different, you know, not anything to do with work, not anything, and just see my friends. It was a really special time, I think, and even though it wasn't the pandemic, it was much better than last year where we couldn't do anything. You know?
Like the Malaysian community in Cambridge, they're quite like close and tight knit because there's very few of us. So like, what's the Muslim community like in Cambridge?
I would say there's more Muslims in Cambridge than I thought there would be. Definitely, which is cool. We have an Islamic society in Cambridge, so it's like just another like a religious society as part of Cambridge University, and that's where a lot of us as students come together, and they organise loads and loads and loads of events. Like, it's really, really active. It's really cool. I've always felt welcome there, and you don't even have to be a Muslim to come. Obviously, like loads of people like bring their friends and everything who are non-Muslim. Like, you can join with anything, obviously, because it's open for everyone. We have a lot of, especially pre-COVID times, like a lot of charity events, and we have our charity weeks and stuff where we try and raise money, and it usually ends in like a big formal dinner at the end of it, like a charity auction and stuff. Lots of interfaith work, lots of things like homeless outreach where we try like once a week to provide things for like homeless people in Cambridge and things like that. And we have prayers on Friday as well. Like, as a Muslim, like, we pray every day, but on Friday it's kind of traditional to kind of congregate together and pray, like in bigger groups, so we can have that as well. And I think they only in this term or last term, because of COVID, they've managed to be bringing that back, but like in a COVID safe way, getting to limited numbers. But yeah, it's a really good community, and the good thing about obviously being in Cambridge is that it's not just people in your year or in your subject that you get to know, it's across all years and across all the subjects, because we all kind of live together.
So it sounds like you know loads about the Islamic Society at Cambridge. Were you really active in that, and were you active in other societies as well?
This year I'm actually on the interfaith subcommittee.
The what, sorry?
Interfaith. So it's basically where you facilitate just socials between different religions. So like Islamic Society, JSOC, the Jewish Society, Christian Society, like all the societies, like we can just have different events with them to kind of facilitate discussions and just anything that can get everyone together and kind of find common similarities between ourselves, because so often people like to look for differences. We think that it's really good to celebrate like our similarities.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool and interesting. So obviously we haven't been able to put on events yet for COVID, but it would be really cool if we could do something in the next academic year. I'm actually Cambridge University Veterinary Society, so that's clubs. I'm the vice president this year.
Nice, yes.
So part of my role is to basically put on all the talks for the society. We're hoping to continue kind of an amalgamation of in-person talks and online talks, COVID permitting. So next time we're going to see if we can have a few more in-person talks. That would be nice. We've got a few exciting things lined up. Trying to like prepare a bit more. I'm going to be doing that this summer.
How did you manage your time with all these different societies?
I feel like it's easier to manage your time than you think it is. You just kind of have to prioritize. You know what I mean? Like, and usually like the societies will have their matches or events at certain times, so you'd know in advance. So I can just plan it.
I also think it's like a myth that you can't do so many things during university and study well.
It's definitely a myth,
I feel like the more things I have to do, the more incentive I have to plan. So I have to get my life together and like make sure I can do everything.
And everyone's different.
But everyone's different.
Like you can balance things exactly however you choose to. So if you think only one thing is like that you really want to focus on for a term, then that's fine. Do that as well. And also like it doesn't have to be societies and clubs. It can also just be spending time with friends. So it's really nice just to do.
I came to know about you is like I heard your podcast on RCBS Knowledge about diversity and inclusivity in the veterinary profession. So I guess, what are your thoughts about this?
So I definitely feel really strongly about diversity in our profession, just because there is such a glaring lack of it. And I think it's really a privilege for me to be able to take these opportunities that come, like for example the podcast, to talk about this with other amazing vet students from other universities. And we were basically just discussing diversity in the profession and maybe things that are not so great and things that need improvement, and how we might be able to improve that. And I actually think it, like me explaining to you my experiences on applying for vet school firstly, just as a person, was already kind of not so clear cut. Like from my experience, no one really says, oh, you could do veterinary medicine. It's not offered to you. It's very active on the applicant's part to kind of find out more about it. Surprising, because it's such a difficult thing to apply for and to get into. And applicants are there, they're just not necessarily from the schools or the places that I was from. My experience for applying for veterinary medicine was that it was grouped in with healthcare. So when we'd have for example, like careers things, or like obviously how to apply for things at university. If you wanted to do medicine, dentistry, or veterinary medicine, you'd be put in healthcare. Even then, it wasn't really kind of given its own designation. Everything was basically for medicine, and I had to find out.
God, I feel the same.
And I had to find out what was different about veterinary medicine. Definitely, like my school was there for me if I needed it. But again, I had to be the one to ask. So that's what makes it a very active process, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But where it becomes a problem is then where it becomes like kind of a barrier for other people who might not have thought they wanted to go into veterinary medicine. This is my point. Like, I think that the profession, or even just schools in general, need to take more of an approach with veterinary medicine. So instead of just being for students who know they want to apply to veterinary medicine, that's fine, because they'll find out the information, they'll do what it takes, because they already know that's what they want to do. But maybe if you don't know what you want to do, and you don't even really consider veterinary medicine an option because it hasn't been offered to you, then that's where we can start to have resources and have good opportunities for those students to explore the avenue of veterinary medicine.
And I guess, like, I don't know if you feel the same way about, like, you know, seeing role models as vets, and like knowing friends or like your parents' friends who are vets, and seeing that, oh, if they can do it, maybe I could do it too, you know.
Definitely. Actually, when I was applying, luckily one of my mum's friends, she is a vet, and she's Muslim, but she's English, so she's not an ethnic minority or anything, but she's Muslim. And so I was thinking to myself, this is so cool, because I don't see that many Muslims in the animal care sector in general. Maybe there are, I just don't see them. And I also don't see many ethnic minorities either. So sometimes going into practice and seeing one vet or like one nurse, I'm just thinking, oh, this is, you know, slightly reassuring that I'm not the only one. And actually, to be honest with you, whenever I was applying and when I was younger and doing work experience to actually build up the experience to get to be a vet student, I didn't really internalize the fact that I was a minority, if that makes sense. Like, I knew I wanted to do veterinary medicine. I knew that's what I wanted to do, and nothing was going to stop me in terms of like no diversity, if that makes sense. So I was thinking, I don't really care. And only now am I realizing, like, still I do feel like that, but internally it does affect you, because now as I'm doing more and more, I'm thinking that, wow, you know, really all the practice I've been to, I can count on my hands the amount of times that I've seen someone who is like me, or not even necessarily like me, but someone who's not like the major demographic. So it can be difficult then when you start to progress, I feel like, because then you really want to see people who are looking a bit similar to you, or like who can, not even just because they look like you or anything, but just because they understand where you come from and understand like maybe some of the like unique challenges that you face,
and like cultural experiences that you've been through and you can relate to.
Exactly.
So you don't really have to, like, you know, explain to them what you're going through.
Because
you don't have to, because they already know what you feel.
Exactly. And I feel like that is something that becomes a privilege when really it's just a right, you know, for me to like have people who can understand me. Because that's the point of like being a human, is that we're all different. So we should all be able to like help each other in different ways. And when that's missing, it can become very tiring, because you're always kind of, you know, having to think, do I have to say this out loud, or do they already know what I need, or like, should I, you know, is it awkward? And, you know, like for example, like something I've become better at, like I need to pray, you know, and as a Muslim I pray 5 times a day, and sometimes when you say that to people who aren't like so aware about your religion or whatever, they might like be a bit shocked and oh really, like 5 times, and it just makes you feel like, there's something wrong with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's not actually that big of a deal. Like, if you think about it, like, if you actually want to logically think about this, like, 5 prayers a day, that's 5 prayers in 24 hours, and it takes me, like, less than 10 minutes to pray each prayer. Like, it's not that deep, do you know what I mean? But anyway, there's that. Most people are, like, really, like, understanding, they know that I have to pray, whatever. But then it's just things like, it would be nice if I didn't always have to kind of say, this is what I need, and, you know, can I, this, like, it would be cool if, like, you know, they'd be like, oh, so you need to pray, this and that. You know what I mean? It would be nice if I had some provision. But again, that wouldn't happen if they didn't need to do it themselves, for example. In terms of diversity for the veterinary profession, and this is something else that I said in the podcast, I really feel like we need diversity not for it to be like a token, you know, not that, oh, we're just increasing diversity because we need representation and everything like that, but it's like, it's almost like it's needed, it's a requirement, because you have to be able to have like different people, because all your clients are going to be different people, and they're going to have different takes on life, they're going to have different, you know, cultures and different languages, so you can't just have one kind of demographic catering to such a diverse demographic. You have to match it.
I never thought about that, but
like, I just think it's so important, because it's not like a token, it's needed. It's genuinely like, you can't not have a diverse person. Does that make sense? Like, imagine if all doctors were just like one group of people, like, you would never be able to fully understand every single patient. It's not anything wrong with that, it's just human nature, it's natural, like, that we're all different, so we need to like play off our strengths and like work as a team, like of different individuals to be able to deliver that successfully. In my opinion, at least, we need like different people from different walks of life to be nurses, to be vets, be assistants, and this will definitely improve the profession, in my opinion.
No, I definitely think so too. Like what you say, like playing on strengths of different people's cultural backgrounds and like, you know, their abilities. And I wonder if like, are people just not applying to the veterinary profession in the first place because they don't see people that look like them in the profession, do you think? Or
that's a good question.
There's like other barriers, like cultural barriers, because for me, like in Malaysia, typical Asian families would say like, you know, be a lawyer, doctor, or engineer, and don't be anything else. So maybe that's also like one of the factors. But I don't know. This is a tricky one. I don't know how to.
I know what you mean. Like, it's a very difficult balance between kind of like your actual units, like your family or friendship unit, and how they influence you and how that influences you, and then from the kind of academic school, sixth form, university sphere. Like, there is only so much that a university can do, that a school can do, but that doesn't mean to say that that shouldn't be done. Like there is more that the universities can do to widen, like to actively try and seek people from all walks of life. I think that also maybe even from a younger age, like, we could have things like, obviously this is not for any one person to do, but like,
it's like everyone.
We can have like books maybe, or like for children, showing them like, oh, this is a vet, life of a vet, and then you can show children through that different people from different cultures and like all different animals, and that might inspire children to want to like be involved with animals, like simple things like that. If people are offered things and shown the merits of the profession, and shown exactly what it is. People don't always know what it is.
And that anyone can be a vet. You don't have to be from a certain background to be a vet. I think that's the main thing. Giving the options so that people are aware that it's a viable option and it's a rewarding career. And then the second thing is people from different backgrounds. And actually having it explained, not just like, oh, you can be a vet, but like, what does that actually mean? What does that actually entail? The veterinary profession is not only just being a vet to save animals, but you also work in like the public health sector, meat inspectors, or
policy,
zoonosis, policy, or like even in COVID, there are vets, like avian influenza, all the important diseases. So I think the veterinary profession is way more than what people think it is.
There's so much variety.
Environment, One Health, and like
One Health. I was vice president of One Health Society as well.
Last year,
which is like, shows me like everything is connected. If you like medicine, there's no reason why you might not like veterinary medicine. There's no reason why you might not like to help the environment, do conservation, and everything links. You can explore all of the opportunities, like for sixth form, in sixth form, you have at least a better idea of what there is available to you. And also the other thing is that you don't have to necessarily be a vet from sixth form, if that makes sense. That doesn't have to be your direct choice. Like, people get into veterinary medicine through many different routes. Like, there are so many postgraduates who have done something completely different, but they've realised that veterinary medicine is an option that's available to them and that they actually want to do, and then they've gone into it again. So you don't have to become a vet like from a young age. You can be any age.
some tips and advice that you can give to pre-vet applicants?
Yeah. I think my number one advice would be to do as much work experience as you possibly can. Different areas as well, because like you mentioned, veterinary medicine has huge variety. So going to stables, for example, farms, different veterinary clinics, hospitals even.
Yeah.
And then I would definitely say as my third tip, reading around a bit if you can, like looking at in certain magazines. It doesn't have to be like super academic at this stage, or even just certain books that you can read that are to do with medicine in general, animals, veterinary medicine, conservation, to all help to like develop a passion for something if you are interested in it.
Yeah. So I guess the last bit is about your career aspirations or any other interests you'd like to share with us.
I have always dreamed of being a wildlife vet.
Cool.
Yeah, like I said, like my family's from Kenya, so I've grown up like seeing those kinds of animals and really falling in love with them. I'd love to work with big cats, elephants, that kind of thing, like actual wildlife, not in zoos. But also now, the more that I'm progressing in the clinical course, the more I'm realizing that there are other options available to me. I have a big interest in horses as well, so I think doing something with equine would be cool. I love farm animals as well, actually. So I'm thinking like I love all animals. And I would love to maybe start off as being a mixed vet. So working with cats, dogs, and large animals, farm animals like cows and sheep and horses. I think that would be really cool, not only because I really enjoy working with all of them, but also because we learn so much about all of them. It would seem a shame to me to not like try and put that all into practice, at least for the first few years. I also have an interest in orthopedics as well, so I would love, this is a very like
you're basically interested in everything.
It's a very like non-tangible interest as of yet, because obviously we haven't done much orthopedics.
Definitely enjoy the orthopedic rotation.
Yeah.
Sick here.
That sounds really fun.
What about you? We get to drill stuff in bones and things.
No way. What do you want to do?
So I, like you, I've changed my mind so many times. When I applied to university, I want to be a wildlife vet as well.
Yeah.
But then I realized that, actually I really like small animals and I really like cows.
Okay.
So I was like considering, I could be a mixed vet. But then
just like me.
Yeah, I know, just like me. Well, but I decided that I actually feel more confident working with small animals. So I think I'll stick to small animals for now. Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so cool.
And the beauty of it is that as a vet, you can jump from different species to different species. If you feel like, actually I don't really like working with these animals, I'll just refresh my memory, go to some CPD courses on my cows, and then maybe I'll go into
What's
cows.
CPD?
CPD is like continued professional development, which is basically seminars or lectures that you have to do throughout your profession. It's part of your profession to make sure that you're up to date with the latest knowledge and things like that.
Sounds so cool. Basically, the world's your oyster.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like underrated, that's the word. I feel like the veterinary profession is so underrated because people think it's just one thing, but actually you can do so many things.
Yeah.
So
you really can. You don't even have to be a practicing vet.
Yeah, and if you want to know more about like alternative careers in veterinary medicine, you can go to the Facebook group. There's like Vets Stay Go Diversify, VSGD. I'll put a link down, and then you can check out and see what other people are doing who are vets. So yeah, that's really cool. Cool. I guess we'll wrap up this interview, and thank you so much, Sanaa, for spending time with us.
My pleasure.
Yeah, this week is a busy week. Everyone's graduating, and we've got so many.
Congratulations about that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll graduate tomorrow.
So exciting.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be on your channel, and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
The beauty of doing all these interviews is that I get to meet so many cool people as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.
That was so cool.
That was so fun.